about God. Nothing more, nothing less, nothing else. The golden chain. Adam was the first, Muhammad was the last. And in between, a great chain of prophets presented themselves. As the Quran teaches, humanity is but one nation, whose Lord is God, the one worthy of worship. The call to Islam is therefore a continuation of faith that is based on unity and collaboration to maintain the well-being of all humanity. Prophet Muhammad asserted this notion of collaboration between all God's prophets when he said that God's prophets are brothers. This means that God's prophets are all related to one another, not only through lineage, but also through the fact that they all preach the same faith. God's prophets, a divine call for human beings to become united.
God's prophets and miracles. In Islam, miracles only happen to God's prophets. Miracles prove God's omnipresence and omnipotence. They establish God's dominion over the universe. God's prophets are not gods or saints with divine qualities. Rather, they were mere mortals charged with a difficult task. They possessed exceptional characteristics because they were obligated to face extraordinary trials and tribulations in order to spread the message to worship God alone. Noah came at a time in which the sincere belief in one God was distorted and people were plunged into depravity and sin. Noah exerted tremendous efforts to save his people and guide them to the right path. The story began when some people, in the very old days, built statues of the righteous men among them who used to worship God devoutly, so that these statues would keep reminding the people about God after these righteous people died. As time passed, subsequent generations forgot the reason why these statues were built, and even the religion became so weak that none would worship God. The subsequent generations came to think of these statues as gods, and they began to worship them. For many generations, and until Noah came, the people had been worshipping these statues, calling them gods. Noah continued to preach God's message for 950 years. Noah would preach God's message to his people day and night, in public places and with individuals in private. After all this, Noah's people rejected him and disobeyed him. But of course, a few believed in him. Then Noah received a revelation from God that he should build a huge ark that came to be a great miracle. Noah made the ship of 3 levels, one for domesticated and wild animals, another for birds, and another for human beings. Noah started building the ship with pairs of animals and humans. Once animals and humans were launched, God commanded rain to pour to the earth, and the earth to burst with water pouring and gushing from every place. The ship sailed in waves as high as mountains. earth to absorb the water and the rain to stop falling. The ship reached its final resting place. That was at Mount Judea.